That took way too many tries. Way too many tries. There's no reason why it should have taken me 4 attempts to get this to do what it used to do in one. But that apparently is the world we now live in. Right? Everything takes more attempts. So good day, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino Beer Review. Today you have the Rhino, and we are looking at a beer. Today's beer, when I saw the name, really excited me. It really excited me for 2 reasons. One, because I knew it was going to be a spruce tip beer, which I don't get enough of. As much as I hate spruce and cedar, especially when it's planted in your yard, I got excited. The second was because of how close it was to the name of one of my favorite actors. This is Spruce Campbell. And Spruce Campbell is obviously sorry, what was that? How you doing, Rhino? Well, I'm here. So Spruce Campbell is obviously a play on Bruce Campbell's name. What the fuck is going on up there? My son should be asleep right now, not moving things in his bedroom. Anyway, this is from Multinational Brewing Company on 1130 15th Avenue here in Regina, Saskatchewan. Very small brewery. So if you are not from Regina, unfortunately, you will probably not see this unless you do a beer trade with me. And then you might get some multinational stuff. This is a pale ale. Saskatchewan pale malt from Makers, honey malt, Simcoe, and Chinook hops. So I mean, we're going old school. And how are you doing, by the way? And how bad is the coloration on here? Because I mean, I have these lights and everything. They're doing nothing on the live stream, and I can't turn on the actual regular light because my wife is sleeping. Local spruce tips and California ale yeast. And this is 5.3% alcohol by volume. And this is the first time I have had a beer from them that was advertised by them and is canned in the same month. So this was canned in July of 2024. Howdy, Planet. And it's good to see you hooked on Chronic. Sorry, my eyes are getting worse. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. I actually haven't balded. I just shaved, but I'm getting there, man. I'm getting old, and those years in the Arctic didn't help. Those years in the Arctic really didn't help. But hey, I'm doing well, and it's good to see you and howdy and all that. We have our regular Asus Tough Gaming capture card, because I was always going to start doing gaming on YouTube and then just never got around to it. My wife gets mad at me because I buy toys and I have plans and then it just never happens. And this was one of those plans that just never came to fruition. And I even tried to sell it. It's a $300 card. Even now, if you were to try to buy it, it's like $250. I put it up for like $60 on Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace and stuff. It's still cellophaned. See, it's still cellophane. It's still wrapped. And I'm like, hey, anyone want to get this? And I got I'll give you $20 for it. Go fuck yourself, sir or madam. Apparently, I'm not allowed to to assume your gender, so sir or madam, go fuck yourself. So I was really excited by the name of this because I thought it was a play on Bruce Campbell and a spruce beer. Apparently, even though it's Spruce Campbell, it's not really a play on Bruce Campbell from what I've been told, which saddens me beyond belief. And having dug spruce trees out of my front yard and all that, I don't. Yeah, that's why. That's why I'm useless. I'm I'm a persona non grata to most YouTubers now. I'm too old. And all the younger beer tubers and all that, you know, they spend all that time doing all that editing and everything else, and I don't. I don't. None of my videos are edited. There's not even cuts. If I fuck up, it's fucked up in the video because it's a beer channel. It's a channel about reviewing. I don't need it to be fucking flashy. I don't need it to be this. I don't need it to be that. I don't want it to be entirely lowbrow, but at the same time, I'd rather spend time with my dogs, my family, my wife. I do have to get back in shape because for 6 years I've just let myself go, and I feel like I'm getting back to the point I was at with my ex-wife, and that's just not acceptable. So I have to work towards a goal, and my goal is to get back to a normal life. Sorry to the people of Multinational. Your beer was the one we went live with, and the beer we go live with always has more than just the beer review going. I like the look of it though. Beautiful gold, and I saw there was another comment. We will get to it. Beautiful golden color, bright white head, hazy crazy. Like you can sort of see my hand through it. Is it? No, you don't see the hand at all. Hey, it's just the shadows that you see. So it's a hazy crazy, brassy gold, bright white head. It's a nice looking pale ale. It really is. What the fuck is that child doing? What time is it? It's 11:09. He told me, I'm going to bed at 10:45, Dad, because you need to go to a doctor's appointment at 9:30, and I know I have to watch the dogs. It's 11:09. He's moving shit around in his room. What the fuck's he doing? What do we have here? I would love to try the beers he reviews. Pity we don't get them here. Where are you there, sir? Or madam? You belong back on top. Yeah, I'll never be back on top. I was never on top to begin with. Come on, man. We had Hoogly. Hoogly was bigger than me. When I started, the I'm a So Fats were huge for beer reviewers. Hoogly was around. Who else was out there back then that was fairly big? The I'm a So Fats were probably one of the biggest at the time. Chad's beer reviews was pretty big. He's still apparently doing really well. He's no longer with us, but Greg's beer reviews was just starting. No, he started a little after me, didn't he? Because my son is 14 this year, so I started videos about beer like 12. No, I would have started around 14. No, 14 years ago, I started the vlog, not the vlog, sorry, the blog, and video started about the same year he was born. So they're going on 14 years now. So yeah, Hoogly was around, the I'm a So Fats. I don't even remember who else was out there. And when I started doing hot sauce reviews, the big hot sauce reviewer was Ted Barris. I don't know what he's doing anymore. I know he fell from grace at one point. GSHL TV was still was blossoming then. I know he's still around to this day. Yeah, scent. I see there's a lot of comments. We will get to them. See, and Spruce has a very, very specific scent, and I don't get Spruce off this. I get like grapefruit, pine. I mean, pine and spruce are kind of the same, but I've cut down enough spruce and cedar trees to know that there is a difference. I have so much cedar and so much spruce in my garage right now that I use to start my fires when we have campfires in the backyard. Because I had 2 spruce trees and a cedar tree in my front garden that was digging into my sewage pipe, and they had to die. Yeah, there's like pine, orange, and grapefruit from the can, and nothing really out of the glass. We'll see the comments, then we will try the multinational beer. I'm going to see if Chris wants to do a interview with a Rhino segment tomorrow. We'll see if that happens or not. I don't know. Mr. Smith, why are you up? Oh, because you're going to work. Melbourne, Australia. Oh. You know who I watch from Australia all the time? And my wife says that I am a old man because of it. She's like, of course you watch dad videos on YouTube. And he's from Sydney, not Melbourne, but Drain Addict. I watch his videos all the time, and I love them. And my wife gets angry at me because I'll say his lines. You know, I'll be like, block drain and shit like that. And she's like, fucking idiot, stop it, stop it. Have a good day at work, Brian. And yeah, so tomorrow I might try and do a live. And if I do a live tomorrow, we will do the double live, most likely. We will do the interview with a Rhino with Chris, and then I'll do a hangout with my buddies, and then I'll go have a campfire with the kid and wife. So let's try the Spruce Campbell. And Brian, I thought of sending you another list to get sent to the house, but I was like, you know what? I probably shouldn't, because that money's better used in other ways at the moment. But at the same time, I was like, oh, I'm down to like 20 beers to review. Brian could get me a box like right away. But my wife might cut my balls off. Not bad, but as a spruce beer should have more to it than what this has. Oh, what do we got going on here? Mick Dundee, Drain Addict is fun. Drain Addict is fun. I love Drain Addict. And I was actually put on to Drain Addict by a Texas plumber that I watch named Roger. And I don't know why I watch plumbing videos, but I do. I watch plumbing videos often. My two major channels I watch is like Jim Cornette and Drain Addict. And every once in a while I'll throw in maybe like Stevie Richards or The Undertaker for their podcast, or Mr. Evans there, guy that does the mystery tech videos. I watch him too. I watch a lot of boring dad videos. That's what I watch mostly. If I want to see what's going on in Wisconsin, you know, I'll watch Code Blue Cam. I don't know if I would say it's very bitter on the back. So, and it's piney bitter, which, I mean, spruce tips give off that pininess, but they usually give off a little bit more of a woodsy flavor. But who knows? Maybe as I drink it, it'll build, because it has built on the first two sips. I don't like spruce beers, but I like trying them. It's this weird conundrum I have of trying beers that I know I'm probably not going to like, but the only way to do it is to try them. Good day, Malty Rusk. Yeah, I actually do watch Maven's videos on occasion as well. I do believe if he is who I think he is, and he's just changed his name for the third time, I owe Malty Rusk a beer mail. Luckily, I have a bunch of beer in the fridge. Maybe next week when I get paid, or the pay after. Whichever pay I get Monday's pay on, because I get double time and a half on Monday's pay. Well, Monday's shift. Not this Monday, but the 4th of August. So maybe the middle of August I'll get a box together for him. If he is who I think he is, and he's just changed his name for the 3rd time. Yeah, as a pale ale, it is bitter. It is very bitter. As a beer that I thought was playing on Bruce Campbell's name, and then I found out wasn't playing on Bruce Campbell's name, but was at the same time, disappointing, but kind of what I expected. There is a little bit of citrus, very piney. Yeah, that piney bitterness is overtaking everything on there. Larry Hahn Framer. his friend Ratty's quite a help. I love when he brings his kids too. I'm like, I wish my kids would be up to that. I ask my kids to help me with anything, and it's a fight. If you're Larry, you're not who I think you are. It's not a bad beer. Would I buy it again? Never. I would never buy it again unless I had to send it to somebody. Unless somebody was like, I want to try a spruce tip beer, and I can't find a spruce tip beer. Can you send me a spruce tip beer, Chad? I would send it to you. Other than that, I would never pay money for this again. I just bought this today. I actually walked down to the brewery with my wife, and she's like, I want to go for a walk. I'm like, well, how much of a walk do you want to go for? She's like, well, you're just starting your weight loss journey again. Let's go for a short walk. And I'm like, well, you want to walk to the brewery? You've never actually seen the brewery because you always just have to park in front of it or park around the corner or drive around the block and bitch about the parking. Do you want to walk down there and see the brewery? And she's like, sure. So we walk down. I love Multinational. I love a lot of their beers. I would never buy this again. Ever. So out of 10 on this, I'd give it a 4. I won't buy it again. That's not a problem. You can love it. If you're from here in Regina and you see this, or if you're from Multinational, because I know Multinational's employees watch, there's no faults in it. There's not. I already knew going into this that I wasn't going to like it, but I wanted to try it because I want to try everything. I don't like it. Again, I knew I wasn't going to. So, can't be mad about that. It is. Anyone want to talk about anything before I go? I don't have to go just yet. It's a pale ale. It's a spruce tip pale ale, is what it is. Hence the Spruce Campbell. And spruce tip beers are beers I'm not usually a fan of, and usually they are made into a pale ale because you can play off some of the flavor of spruce as hops. You can't wait. What time is it? Because Brian said, oh, I guess he would be leaving for work like any minute now. Because I forgot you're 2 hours ahead in Ontario versus where I am right now. Today they didn't have a lot for purchase. They had their Champal, and their Champal is a play on champagne, and it is a Pilsner. They had their Sports, which is their regular pale ale. They had Pretty, which is a pale ale. They had Tiger, and Tiger is a milkshake IPA. I did buy one of those because I haven't had it before. They had Shepherd Moon. I have a can of Shepherd Moon, so I didn't need one of those. They had Saturn's Rising. I have a can of that, so I didn't need one of those. They had Aloha, which was a hazy New England IPA, so I bought one. And they had the Spruce Campbell. Their tap list was even smaller, but they are a very small brewery. They're my Homer brewery though, because I can walk there in under 10 minutes. It's if I was to walk out my front door right now, I would walk 2 blocks that way, and then I would walk 2 blocks that way, and I'm there. So it's my Homer brewery. I could get drunk out of my mind at the brewery and still make it home faster than I made it home from the bar I used to bounce at in St. Catharines. Because the bar I used to bounce at St. Catharines, I would leave drunk all the time, and I would have to use different phone poles to rest on. And it would take, I was about a half an hour walk away from work, and it would usually take me about 2 hours to get home. My ex-wife was always pissed off at me, because I would walk home and I would pass out like in the hallway, and she'd wake up in the morning and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I was drunk. What's wrong? She goes, "How are you drunk? You can say no." You can't say no to the cantankerous cook, because Paul was the owner of the bar. Like, you can't say no to Paul. She's like, "You can say no to anyone. You're an adult." So we went to a Christmas party, and she hadn't. The Christmas party was on a Sunday because the bar's not open on a Sunday. So have your Christmas party on a Sunday at the bar because you're not open anyway. And she had an exam Monday morning at like 9 a.m. And Paul forced so much booze down her throat that she was puking in the toilet with her hair in the toilet and everything. I wasn't helping her. I wasn't holding her hair out of the toilet or anything. I was standing in the doorway, being the dickhead I am, looking at her going, "Why are you puking? You can say no to Paul. You're an adult. Just say no. You don't have to drink. You can say no. You have something to do in the morning. Why didn't you say no?" Probably one of the things that led to my divorce, but she wasn't the woman for me. The woman for me is the one that puts up with my shit that's sleeping about 3 feet. Well, 4 feet that way and then 5 feet that way. She's the one that puts up with my bullshit. So favorite beer of the week. Favorite beer of the week was for this week, it would have been the beer Tandem Dark Lager from Brothers Brewing in Guelph, Ontario. Then the next question I had was, are the beers I drink just local Canadian beers? Sorry for it's not a silly question. I can't get a lot of Australian beers. Victoria Bitter we could get here, but by that time I don't believe it was being brewed in Australia. It might still be brewed in Australia, but I believe it was being brewed by Molson outside of Australia when we were able to get it. Foster's Australian for beer, which isn't Australian really at all from what I've been told. It's again Molson playing games. You get a lot of Cooper's beers here, and we get a lot of Cooper's beer kits here. Every once in a while you'll see some New Zealand beers in Ontario. I haven't seen any here in Saskatchewan yet. You don't see any in Manitoba, and you don't see any in Quebec. Keep in mind, I've lived and worked in Nunavut, Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, and now Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan does not have a lot of external beers. So unless I send a list to Brian for LCBO beers, because Brian is a good friend of mine. We worked together for a long time before I went to the Arctic. So every once in a while I'll send him a list from the LCBO and stuff and say, I need this beer, that, and he'll go, okay, it costs this much. The box costs this much to ship to you. I'll send him the money. He sends me the beer, but we don't see a lot of Australian beers. We see more New Zealand beers than Australian. And Renaissance is the New Zealand brewery that we see the most of in Canada. I don't know how big Renaissance is in New Zealand slash Australia. I don't know if they're even in Australia, but we see them a lot in Ontario at least. Again, haven't seen them anywhere else in the country. Saskatchewan's a weird province because I get some beers from Quebec, very few, mostly stuff from like De Ciel ends up here. I see some beers from Ontario and it's bigger stuff. I was actually amazed because I saw some Silversmith beers here in Saskatchewan. I'll see stuff from Flying Monkeys in Barrie, Ontario. I'll see stuff from Collingwood and stuff. Just random weird things that I'd never thought I'd see here in Saskatchewan. Brewers that I was friends with, I actually sent a message to one of them being like, when the fuck did you start distributing to Saskatchewan? He's like, how do you know I distribute to Saskatchewan? I'm like, I live in Saskatchewan now. And he's like, why? Because nobody can believe you would move here. Housing is cheaper. So much life is cheaper here. And it's so much more laid back than Ontario. Again, Saskatchewan, the entire province of Saskatchewan could fit into Toronto, like the GTA, like 5 times. So it's amazing. Anyway, you see more Manitoba beers than Quebec and Ontario, but not a whole lot. Saskatchewan doesn't have a lot of provincial craft breweries, but you see a lot of Saskatchewan beers, and there is a lot of big breweries that make Saskatchewan only type of beers, and a lot of regional breweries that will make Saskatchewan only beers. Then you have Alberta. There is a lot of Albertan beers here, and there is a lot of beers from BC here, and then very few end up here from Nunavut and the Yukon. And there is 2 breweries in Nunavut, and there's 2 or 3 in the Yukon. And you'll see a couple beers every once in a while at a few. I don't understand I don't understand if there's a salesperson selling it or if they just randomly buy. I haven't been here long enough to learn the entire ins and outs of their liquor system in Saskatchewan. We moved here February 9th. Well, we bought our house. We took possession February 14th. We flew out of the Arctic February 9th. We ended up here on the 11th, and we were in a hotel until we took possession of the house. So I haven't been here long enough to learn all their ins and outs. Funny enough, I found out that a guy that I was friends with and helped learn to brew at Niagara College is the head brewer of a brewery that's about a 30-minute walk from my house. And I talk about walking more than driving because I don't drive. I'm blind, right? Foster's is rubbish. Stay away. I prefer Cooper's Red. Have you tried Carlton Draft? No, I have not. Yeah, Renaissance had a bunch of good beers from a couple of years ago. You could find them at the LCBO all over the place. Again, don't get many Australian beers. I've had some beers shipped here from viewers in the UK and viewers in Ireland, but I've never had any random Australian. I've had one of the brewery owners, Jason who owns Brimstone, which is where I would do the Albino Rhino Beer Festival. His wife is German, and they would go to Germany every year, and he would bring me back German craft beers to review. That's where I've had some of my really random, weird German beers. And his family's Italian, and he would do the same thing. He would pick up some Italian craft beers and bring them back for me. And it was always great that I had these connections that knew I did this channel and would bring me things to try. And actually, how is the picture? How is the sound? I know I've been here for months and we've done some live videos, but I've never actually asked how everything is turning out on this channel. Because I don't get to watch it. Well, I could watch it if I wanted to, but I know that I don't look the way I did 6 years ago anymore, so I don't want to see the fact that I got fat again. I can see it right now, like I can see myself, but I don't want to watch it again. Why did you retract your message? I don't care what you say. You can say I'm a fat piece of shit. I'm not really going to care. I'm blind too. My feelings don't get hurt very often. Um, I don't. I don't know if Chris is going to want to do the live tomorrow, but we're going to try to do some lives tomorrow. Live or lives. Actually, you're going to get to hear me do this as voice text because I'm blind. I don't like to text. Where the fuck is he? He sent me messages recently. Why can't I find him? There he is. We doing an interview with a rhino tomorrow? Or I guess for you it would be today. I'll get an answer in the morning. I'm okay with that. Nothing's irrelevant. I'm irrelevant, man. I'm a guy whose doctor has told him he probably shouldn't be drinking anymore because this is. So I went in. I had a blood test from my doctor. I have a new family doctor, and I go in and she goes, "Your cholesterol's a tiny bit high." She goes, "For your age and your weight and everything, it's actually not high, but it's a tiny bit higher than it should be." She goes, "I haven't done a full family history on you. Is there any heart attacks in your family?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my dad's on his fourth." She's like, "What?" "Oh, yeah, my granddad died at like 35 of a massive heart attack." She's like, "What?" And she's like, "Okay, it's high." Well, my granddad, if you're mostly worried about my granddad, the theory in the family is that he was poisoned by my grandmother. She's like, "What?" I go, "Well, he beat her, so the theory is that she, as a mean old Irish lady, poisoned him to kill him. Nobody holds it against her. She's a lovely old Irish lady, and she was getting beat." I'm like, "My dad's 75 now. I mean, he's had 3 heart attacks. He's lived through all of them. I'm in 42. He had his first one in his 50s, so yeah, I should probably start taking care of myself." She goes, "Well, your liver enzymes, one of your liver enzymes was high." She goes, "For your age and everything else, it should be 50. It was 80. She goes, "It's not a worry until it hits 100, but it was 80. Oh, well, I forgot I was doing a blood test in the morning, and I had 10 beers the night before the test. So, just go, what?" So, yeah, it was fun. Well, I've worked in the beer industry for a long time. I'm not really in it anymore, but I still do a channel and all this, and this is what I do. And she goes, "Well, maybe you should think about stopping that." I go, "Well, I don't think I'm going to stop that, especially if the main reason that my enzymes were high was I had 10 beers the night before." I go, "But I can cut back. I can very much cut back and basically just drink when I review. And when I'm at a review beers, She goes, "You can do that?" I go, "Yeah, I've gone years without drinking. Sometimes I've gone 2 or 3 years without having a beer. And other times I go a week without a beer, and other times I go a day without a beer." Like, it depends. It depends what's sitting in front of me. I go, it's not like I need it. I like it. I like the taste. I like the experience. I like this. I like that. And I like kicking those walls down because I've had a lot of mental illness in my life. As most people that have watched the channel for a long time know, I've had a lot of shit go down. As most of the people that have watched the channel for a long time know, I just I I use this as a social tool as well. It's the way I get to express myself. It's the way I get to talk about things. It's the way I get to do a lot of the things that I wouldn't be able to or wouldn't be willing to do otherwise. And I mean, if it comes down to I need to stop drinking or my liver's going to shut down, sure, I'll stop drinking. If it's that I need to watch what I'm doing, then I'll watch what I'm doing. I'll do whatever you tell me I need to do. Well, that's good to hear, Brian. I wish I wasn't on this live because I really have to pee. And I don't know how you. You know what? No one's watching this far into this anyway. You guys get to just get muted for a second. I'll be right back. Brian, talk to people. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. You were on the Caesars tonight. Hey, Brian, is Raj still the supervisor on Midnights? And if so, say hi to Raj for me. Hell, if there's anyone still on Midnights that I would know, say hi to them. I think you, Cecile, Andrew Allen of all people, and Rob Fortuna are the only ones I still talk to from the casino. I'm pretty sure you know why I don't talk to Chris anymore. Yeah, I don't. Even Racy, I don't talk to Racy anymore. I don't talk to any of them anymore. Really, it's and Fortuna talks. Me and Fortuna message each other randomly, like every 2 or 3 months. The next one messages them. So Fortuna will message me and he'll be like, "Hey, where are you now? What's going on? How's everything going?" And then I'll message him and I'm like, "Hey, how's everything going? What's going on?" And we go back and forth like that. Andrew Allen has actually called me a few times. He called me. He called me when I was slipping my last time too, and I couldn't believe it. He's like, "Yeah, I was reading some of your Facebook messages, and I thought maybe you like your Facebook posts, and I thought maybe you needed to talk to somebody." I'm like, "Andrew, you were just a bartender that worked at the casino with me. Like, why the fuck are you calling me?" He goes, "Because I care. You were actually a really good guy." And I I didn't expect you to be calling, sir. And I mean, that was I was still in Pavernatook at the time. It was right after I was sexually assaulted, and I know that YouTube doesn't like you saying those words, but it was right after that happened that he called me, and we talked for like an hour and a half about things. I I know a lot of people thought that guy was an asshole, but I always liked Andrew. I haven't talked to Mickey in forever. I haven't talked to Racy, like I said. I haven't talked to anybody. I was really thrown aback when I found out Bucky died. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. And to your 110 score, I'm sorry. Hopefully everything's good. The mustard never comes to visit me here in Regina. He doesn't like albinos. So one of the supervisors at my job, she She one time she walked into the auditor's office and she thought she would see the other assistant manager there, but it was me sitting at the auditor's computer working. She's just looking at me, right? Because she's realizing that I'm not the other manager, and I'm like 3 times his size and albino. And I turn around and I look at her and I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's just looking at me for a second. I go, oh, it's okay, I get it. You don't like albinos, and I go back to work. And she's like, what? What? And she is a minority. And it was just fun because from then on I've been going off on her that she doesn't like albinos. And we have a guy from India who is a supervisor for our midnight shift, and who was in our manager's meeting. And they were telling him, he was sitting right beside me because me and him were talking, because we talk all the time. And he's sitting beside me and we're talking before the meeting. Then at the meeting they're like, hey, have you been outside a lot? He goes, what do you mean? They go, you look really dark right now. And I go, no, it's just because he's sitting beside me. And you could see him, right? Because he's trying to be professional. He's sitting there and he looks away and he's straight faced and he's like, he's biting his lips, and then he just can't, he just starts laughing, right? And it's, I don't, my only PCs, these are my PCs. I don't have a PC. The Asus there is a Asus gaming PC. I don't game on it. I bought it solely for the Asus capture card, because what I was going to do, and again, the Asus capture card is still sealed. It's never even been opened. I was going to start streaming console gaming to my channel, and then that just never happened. Mostly it didn't happen because I just don't have... I'd rather I spend time with you guys when I do this, and I spend time with you guys when I do my lives on Saturdays and stuff like that, and I spend time with you guys even though I'm not spending time with you guys when I record the videos. But I'd rather spend my time with my family, my dogs, or my wife than anything else lately, because I'm with a woman that I actually really enjoy spending time with. So I don't game as much as I would like to. But currently on the Xbox, I'm playing Fallout New Vegas. I was never good at it when I was younger. When it first came out and I was playing it, the Cazadors always destroyed me and everything else. And right now I'm killing it on the second the second expansion. I have all the expansions and all that, but I've finished I finished the one on Zion, and I'm doing what was the Zion one called? I don't even remember. It was the one with Joshua Graham, and I'm currently in space doing the Old World Blues. After I'm done with that, I'm contemplating hooking this up and streaming some games, but I don't know what I'm going to stream yet. I have a bunch of stuff that I have never played on the Xbox right now that I bought cheap. Like I have like the Long Road to Canada, the zombie game and stuff like that. Thinking about stuff like that, like just stupid shit to stream. But who knows? I I was always a Sony guy myself, but the Xbox was cheaper. I have the S, the online version here, because I had a PS5 when I was, and with shitloads of games when I was in the Arctic, but when we were leaving it wouldn't have survived getting out of the Arctic. So I sold it up in the Arctic. I sold it for very cheap, just to come out and have some spending money when we landed, right? Because we knew we had to be in a hotel, eating all of our meals as takeout, feeding the dogs, doing all that fun stuff until we ended up with the house. So it was an interesting time. Um, the best part is I had that quote for my fence. I had a contractor come in and give me a quote for my back porch and my fence, to move my fence back to the front of the garage, because we're never going to need the two parking spaces, right? We have in front of the house as one parking space, we have the garage as another parking space, and then we had another parking space right beside the garage that was the unfenced part of the backyard. I'm like, I don't drive. We only need one spot for a guest and one spot for our vehicle. So let's move the fence back, give the kids and the dogs more space. Everything's good. And the guy came in, and his quote for a 4 foot by 11 foot deck and 10 feet of fence was like 10 grand. I was like, go fuck yourself. And my father-in-law moved the fence. Well, he didn't move. He built the new portion of the fence. It cost me $200 in material. $200 in material. And that was buying all the screws and everything else, all the fittings, the cement, the one tool I didn't have because I came here with nothing, so I've been buying my tools. $200 in materials. Haven't done the deck yet, but I spent another $100 on materials for the deck to shore it up until next year, when I can actually rip the deck down and then do a very small deck, even smaller than what they were quoting me for, because I just want a landing and then build a patio. I don't need a big deck. Because my deck puts me above, because of how the houses are built here, my deck puts me above the fence line, and people don't need to watch me barbecuing and everything else. They can watch me come in and out of my house. I don't give a shit about that, but nothing else needs to be watched. And my dogs, because all three of my dogs are livestock guardian dogs or rescue dogs, they just glare at people and bark at them and stuff, right? Because they're over the fence line. Like, I have a Great Pyrenees, I have a Saint Bernard, and I have a Bernese Mountain Dog. So it's like, I don't need that, and they need the bigger yard and everything else. So he built the new fence and gate. I had to set the gate up after he built it, so it could be opened and closed properly. Then I had to take the old fence down. I still have the 4x4 post, and I just put a fucking solar light on it for now. So in the middle of my yard is just this 4x4 post with a solar light. Yeah, I'm really happy with the place. I'm really happy with what we've done with it. Stream Tetris. It does kind of sound like the fuck off, I don't want to do it price. A lot, not all, but a lot of jobs here are more expensive than out there. Partially because of the population too, right? Like, for me to install a central air is like $5,000. When I installed central air in Ontario, it was 2. And yeah, it's been like 6 years, but I hear Ontario is still in the 3 range, where here it's 5. But my doors and windows, like, I had a guy come up and go, I will change 3 of your windows and both your doors for $5,000. And I'm like, ooh. But then I got fucked by my own actions and the actions of my previous company. As you, Brian, know about, I think you and TJ and one other guy know exactly, word for word, everything that happened, or at least partially everything that happened. And not anyone else really does, but I fucked up. I got fucked in several different ways. But again, I got fucked because I did some stuff I shouldn't have, and I did some stuff I shouldn't have because I needed out. And my mind was going all over the place after the. My mind had been going all over the place for years after the assault, and then after my children were assaulted, they were assaulted in different ways, like physical, and after my wife was assaulted physically, not the same way I was. And then after the company kept us there for a year before moving us out. And then when we landed and we were doing 100-hour work weeks, like I needed out. And there's not a lot of ways to get them to send you out because they will keep you, especially if you're making money for them. They will keep you no matter what. So there was things I was doing purposely to try and get them to ship us out. And it fucked me in the end. And it's why I'm in the position I'm in now. But it's also the reason why I don't have 2 new doors and 3 new windows in the house, because I had to step back some of my plans. All right, sir. Have a good work time. Say hi to anyone that you know I would say hi to. I don't know how many people are still there. Is there anyone even watching still? Do we have anyone here? Well, there's 3 of you. What do you guys want to talk about? We have a few minutes before I leave. Anything. It's an ask me anything. I might answer it. I might be vague, but I might answer it. I really don't like this beer. Wow. I really don't like this beer. Luckily, I had some better beers tonight than this one, but I really don't like this beer. I am watching you guys. I am doing all that. I'm just trying to log into this. So for any of you that don't know what's going on in the Saskatchewan, Manitoba, BC, Alberta area, we are all under forest fire watches. And Jasper in Alberta has basically burnt to the ground. Jasper was a huge tourist area, and things are going bad for them. I don't know if this fire was man-made, like somebody started it, or if it was lightning or anything else. I don't know. Most forest fires, at least as of the last several years, have been, people starting campfires and not putting them out properly, or just throwing a match, or it's been human error a lot of times, and that's sad because it destroys entire forests. It destroys entire old growth forests. Destroys entire towns. There are towns that the company I used to work for have been in where the entire community is burnt to the ground. The community I was in was almost lost once from forest fire. Like, it's a sad state of events that happen in these places, and a lot of times it's easy to not start the fire. But hey, we as people don't think about that stuff, right? We're like, we're having our... Most of Saskatchewan is in a fire ban currently. We are not here in Regina. I've heard the fire chief has said there's a fire ban. I can't find that anywhere online, so I still have my campfires, because until I see that I'm in a fire ban, I'll have my little campfires in the backyard because I have one of those stupid little $99 fire pits that have the mesh guard and all that. Last me a year. Me and the kids and the wife and all that. We have fun with it. I'm basically burning off the spruce and cedar trees that I cut down. But I have to keep going and buying firewood to burn with it because you need something that will actually burn to catch that shit on fire because that shit is shit. And it's sad. I was just going to show you the map of fire bans here in the province, but I don't know if I'm going to get it or not. Saskatchewan fire bans. Saskatchewan fire bans. Fire ban, does whatever a fire ban can. Okay, Saskatchewan Public Safety. I can't. I want the map, damn it. Show me the map. Is this the map? Oh, I think we've got it. I think we've got it, guys. I think we've got it. Not that anyone's even here. Is there anyone even here? Shit, you guys are still here, but you're not talking to me? I get it. I get it. Nobody likes albinos. You're just here to sell my location to the Tanzanians. I got it. It's okay. I'm not bothered. Not bothered at all. There's our Saskatchewan fire ban map. I am in one of the sections that is not fire banned, but a good deal of the province is. Okay, well, if nobody's going to talk, I guess it's time to go. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for putting up with me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there. Thank you for watching. We've already said that, but hopefully we are live tomorrow night with Chris. And if we are live tomorrow night with Chris, we'll do a live with other people afterwards where everybody's welcome to join, not just join the chat, join the panel. And if we don't go live with Chris tomorrow, we'll probably do a live with just the panel. So yeah, cheers. It's been fun. I guess I gotta find where the X is on you now. It's up here. Okay, we found it.